Welcome back to Flow Sports Picks on this Tuesday. Still to come for you, we've got some EPL as we chat to Ellis Gallios, our World Game guru, and Courtney will have her Sports Express. But right now it's time for the AFL Wrap, and here's the Statman.
Thanks, Clayton. Yes, another big weekend of AFL action. It certainly was. We're going to go all the way back to Friday night to go through the details. GWS Giants taking on the Western Bulldogs, and this was a genuine arm wrestle for the longest time in this game where the Giants challenged the Bulldogs. They stuck with them for most of the evening until three-quarter time, and then it was all Bulldogs. They powered away in the end to win 15-14 to 9-11. Another evening where the GWS Giants kicked more behinds than goals, which is certainly an ongoing concern for them. But the Bulldogs would have been absolutely delighted with that. It got back to less than a kick early in the last quarter, and then they just ran away with it, the Western Bulldogs. So they, at the moment, are on top of the ladder and absolutely flying. So looking forward to their clash this week with Richmond, which we'll talk about on Thursday. But should move on to other matches. Of course, Saturday, there was 5 big games in the AFL played on Saturday. And if we have a look at the first game there, Geelong took on the West Coast Eagles and absolutely pumped them. The Eagles struggling big time away from home this season, aren't they? Geelong, 21-10, 136. That's more like it from what we thought we'd be getting from Geelong this year. Towed up the Eagles 5-9-39. They've got serious amounts of injuries at the moment to their midfield. Haven't seen Elliot Yeo at any stage all year. Of course, Shuey is still out injured, but it's no excuse to get beaten to that sort of tune. So the Cats going a bit better now than they were earlier in the year, and the Eagles struggling away from home. If we go up to the Gold Coast next, and this is an encouraging win for the Gold Coast Suns. 15-10-100, the Sydney Swans 9-6-60, and they started the season so positively, the Swans. The last fortnight's been a bit of a kick to the teeth for them. But the Suns, some reward for effort for Stewie Dew. Only really one bad performance this year, and that was the previous week against the Western Bulldogs, who are making everyone look bad at the moment, so can't read too much into that. But the Swans just weren't able to stay in the contest after quarter time. They looked a little tired. Must say they've copped some injuries of recent times, which hasn't helped them either. But I got to make mention of Max King in this game, who I thought was just absolutely outstanding. He's a big unit. He's got a twin brother, of course. Max, is at St Kilda. Ben King is the Gold Coast Suns boy. Kicked 5 goals, 1 on the night, and looked fantastic. Lukosius again had another big game. There were plenty of possession getters for the Swans, but they just couldn't kick goals up front. Buddy Franklin out for an extended period, so looked like they're struggling a little bit, the Swans, to keep up that early season form. If we go to other games on the Saturday, they were the 2 earlier games on the Saturday. And then, of course, we had the twilight fixture, which saw Carlton taking on the Brisbane Lions. And look, for Carlton, another, positive loss, if there's such a thing. 12-13, 85 to 15-13, 103. You can't complain with the fact that Carlton have a crack, because they do. They keep having a go every week. But at some point, if you're a Carlton supporter, those credible losses have got to be turned into wins. The Brisbane Lions did what they had to do. Their forward line looks to be functioning much better now, and Joe Danaher is an important part of that. But the Lions are getting out of Dodge with the 4 premiership points. They'll head back to Brisbane now and look forward to Port Adelaide coming to town, I believe. That'll be a big game. Speaking of big games, what about Anzac Day Eve? Melbourne taking on Richmond. And this was a surprise, not necessarily that Melbourne won, which I thought was a surprise in itself, given that you're just never sure with Melbourne. But I think we can be sure now. They are the real deal. They absolutely towed up Richmond 12-10, 82 to 6-12, 48. They bashed Richmond, and not many clubs can lay claim to having done that. They beat them from pillar to post, out-tackled them, out-harassed them, beat Richmond at their own game. And they certainly look the real deal at the moment. Christian Petrarca, for mine, is on Brownlow medal pace. I think he is the man most likely to win it at the moment if he can continue his current form. Bad news for Richmond with Dustin Martin out with concussion. He'll miss the coming game, which is a huge game as well. This weekend, they have the Western Bulldogs. So 2 big clashes back-to-back for the Tigers, and they can find themselves out of the 8 at the end of round 8. So I think they'll still play finals, but we'll see what happens. Over in the West, a bizarre night where the Fremantle Dockers took on North Melbourne with no crowd, given that they were in the middle of a 3-day lockdown over there. Thankfully, they got exemptions to actually play the game for Fremantle's sake anyway, because they destroyed North Melbourne 14-15-99 to the hapless Roos 6-12-48. And I don't know what to say about North Melbourne. They're just very bad at the moment. Even the worst sides in the competition we've seen in the past pick up a win at some stage. At the moment, I just don't know where it's going to come from for North Melbourne. Fremantle were way too good for them. Nat Fyfe had a bit of an issue late in the game, but looked the goods all night long. Got to say, their ruckman, Sean Darcy, looked pretty good as well. So they're heading in the right direction, the Freo Dockers, and they're ahead of the Eagles on the ladder before the big Western Derby this weekend, which will be interesting. On Sunday, Anzac Day, we had 3 Anzac Day clashes, and, well, we were thoroughly entertained by 2 of them at least. Hawthorn got over the top of the Adelaide Crows in the end. The Crows kicked 10 goals in the second quarter and still couldn't find a way to win. The Hawks 15-12-102, the Crows 16-3-99. And here's a useless stat for you Tuesday. That is the first time that score has ever been kicked in AFL history. 16-3-99. That score had never, ever been kicked before. So I'm not sure what to make of that stat. Either way, the Crows didn't get the 4 points. So the Anzac Day clash, the traditional one between Collingwood and Essendon. This game was fantastic, and I've got to say the Bombers again put on a bit of a clinic in the end, but this was a arm wrestle for most of the day. Collingwood just lacking a touch of class needed when it mattered the most. Essendon certainly had that in spades, and they ran out pretty comfortable winners in the end, 16-13-109 to Collingwood, 13-7-85. McDonald, Tip and Woody outstanding for the Bombers with 5 goals. Probably unlucky not to win the Anzac medal, but mind you, Darcy Parish played the game of his life, 42 touches. Dyson Hepper was up there as well. They had winners all over the ground, the Bombers, and congratulations to them. And the last game on Anzac Day was a bit of a fizzer, unfortunately. Port Adelaide, 14-9-93. St Kilda just cannot get it together this season, 5-9-39. They tried hard at times, the Saints, but that's their MO this year. They try hard at times. Port Adelaide tried hard for the entire 120 minutes, and that's why they ran out fairly convincing winners. Some good signs from Charlie Dixon up forward. Mitch Georgiadis just flies at everything. Travis Boak had another exceptional game. Carl Amon probably played his best game for Port Adelaide. While for the Saints, there's just nothing to write home about at the moment other than their skipper, Jack Steele, who just tries and tries and tries, and no one seems to want to go with him at the moment. So they've got some serious issues. The Saints, Port Adelaide march on to that game in Brisbane this weekend, which will be a beauty. We'll talk about the games to come this weekend on Thursday here on the Sports Fix. For now, Clayton, that's your AFL wrap for today. Back to you.
And Jason Statman and Wayne the Flow Man, they'll be back to Friday night from 4 till 7 with the Flow Sports Show covering local footy and local netball right across the Flow region. But it's time to have a look at our World Game. The World Game guru, Ellis Galios, is coming up next.